Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on all our affiliate stations across the country. The news is also live across the globe on citinewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube. I am Wilma Obuobisa-Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Caleb Kuda.
Coming up, Supreme Court gives green light to Papa Kwesi Indum to challenge revocation of the license of his bank in court. Also coming up, Buffer Stock begins payment of arrears of food suppliers, but members of the association are disappointed with the amount being paid so far. And still ahead, Economist calls for robust measures to tackle rising food inflation as 850,000 Ghanaians have been pushed into poverty, according to a World Bank report.
It's an indicator for us to look at policies that are addressing issues in the agricultural sector towards food production.
And later, 2023 VGMA Artist of the Year, Black Sheriff, arrested over alleged breach of contract. We'll tell you why. Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is also live across the country on a number of affiliate stations. In the Upper West region, we're on Tumpani Radio, 88.5 in Nadoli, and Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. In the Upper East, you're listening to us on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongo Namu. In the Northern region, we're live on North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. In the Northeast region, we're on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalirugu. In the Western region, we are live on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Ashanti region, we are live on Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus and on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, this is Selat Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala and Holy FM 98.5 in Aplao. And in the Savannah region, we're on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your time this afternoon. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. The Supreme Court has given the go-ahead to Papa Kwesi Indum to challenge the revocation of the license of his bank at the High Court. This follows a judgment of the Apex Court overturning an earlier decision of the Court of Appeal preventing the case from being heard in court. GN Bank was part of a number of financial institutions whose licenses were revoked in 2018 as part of the banking sector cleanup. Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, who is founder of the bank, made an application to the High Court challenging the revocation. But respondents in the matter, including the Bank of Ghana, moved to the Court of Appeal for a determination that the appropriate forum for challenging the revocation under the Specialized Deposit Taking Institutions Act is through arbitration. The Court of Appeal granted their application, stayed proceedings at the High Court, and directed the parties to go for arbitration. Group Indum, following this decision of the Court of Appeal, applied to the Supreme Court for a review of the decision. The Apex Court today returned with a verdict in favor of Papa Kwesi Indum.
The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, will this afternoon meet with the convocation of the University of Development Studies UDS Tamale chapter of UTAG to address an ongoing issue between the Commission and the lecturers. The meeting has become necessary following a threat by the lecturers to strike if the Commission goes ahead to modify some positions and conditions of service at the university, though GTEC has denied the claims. Today's meeting, according to Dr. Ahmed Jinapo, the Deputy Director General of GTEC will bring a better understanding of the issue between both parties. And still on education, the Ghana Education Service GES has interdicted the headmistress of West African Senior High School WAS in Accra. A statement by the head of public relations at the GES, Cassandra Chum Ampofu, says Dr. Shine Agatha Ofori has been interdicted for unauthorized collection of money from students while waiting for a determination of the case by the disciplinary committee. She is to hand over administration of the school to the Greater Accra Regional Director of Education.
Now to some other stories. Members of the National Food Suppliers Association have expressed disappointment in the amount being paid them by the buffer stock company. They say the amount is insufficient and will not be enough to settle the debt they owe their creditors. The Minister of Agriculture had promised to settle their debt on July 17 following a 4-day picketing. However, this promise was not fulfilled. Another assurance was given for the debt to be settled on Thursday, July 20th, but the food suppliers who submitted their document for payment claim the money paid them is inadequate as only half of the 2022 debt was paid. Here are some of the suppliers expressing their dissatisfaction with Citi News.
Almost this year and last year.
We were told they were going to pay the arrears for last year and half for this year. We came and it's only this year that they paid. We are extremely disappointed in the education minister. The former minister would have done better. I was expecting full payment, but that wasn't the case. I'm really sad because I owe a lot of the farmers. The amount they paid is woefully inadequate and they must do more.
You heard there some of the food suppliers expressing their dissatisfaction with Citi News.
Moving on to some other stories, and members of the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, are complaining that their goods are being rigorously checked by officers of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and are made to pay more for duties. They are thus calling on officials to urgently address the issue since it is adversely affecting their operations.
We are having some problem with the customer. I'm sure you are aware of it, whereby goods heading towards Ashanti region and beyond are being rigorously checked by the customs. Now, beyond Bunsu, beyond Kubasi, and beyond Anjuan Kwanta, we have two task forces in operation, the National Task Force and the Regional Task Force. In some cases, we have the preventive. And I'm working as a GUTA regional chairman. I have information, I have deliberations with my counterparts in Accra, and those. They don't have those checks. How come only Kumasi? Is it that Kumasi alone who does those skirmishes to get our goods out? Because we know we are paying the same duties. So if government want to realize his duties and make sure the right thing is done, the checking must be across board. It shouldn't only be a Ashanti region. We've explained this issue right down to Mr. Sedu, the commissioner, but it looks as if they are not listening because they think only Ashanti region, because the thinking is that Ashanti region revenue is on the low side. But they forget that me in Ashanti region, when I clear the goods, I clear the Tema, I clear the Tekwadi, so my taxes go there. So at the end of the day, Tekwadi will be paying any more revenue. Accra will be any more revenue than most people will get, because even the multinational companies here, like Mecom and those, they pay their taxes in Accra and then they will be the receipt, the photocopy of the receipt here. So how do you compare Accra and Kumasi? And you expect us to pay the same duties?
The Ashanti Regional Chairman of GUTA is also calling on officials of Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to put stringent measures in place to determine the standard calculation for various items to avoid post-clearance audit challenges. He made this statement on the sidelines of a forum for shippers on post-clearance audit.
I think there's something that the customs should do. They've done the work for a very long time. So I'm expecting to know an average cost of a spare parts for 20 feet, 40 feet. So if an agent is manipulating the situation and paying something less, I will advise the customer that in that situation, for the purpose of government revenue and for the safety of the customer, they should make sure that they insist the right thing is done. Because in most cases, it's not the agents alone who does it. It's a collusion between the agents and the customer officials that leads to the situation where we pay the duties and on our way to Kumasi, they will direct churches and they realize that the duties are short payment. So if an officer and I'm assessing a 40-footer container, I know the person is 15,000, but it should have been 20 or 25,000. Why shouldn't I insist that the right thing is done? But I receive the money because something is going into my pocket and I allow the container to go, and on my way here, it becomes a problem for us. So we want in that light, we want the customs to up their game at the ports and show those people who churn out our duties, do the right thing, even where the agents try to manipulate them, so that we prevent the situation where on our way home, we face those hindrances on the road.
Anthony Opong is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of GUTA. Now speaking at the same event, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonita Bismarck, called on shippers to be well informed to avoid the many post-clearance audit challenges they face.
We want our shippers to have a seamless flow of business. Trade facilitation. I mean, paying taxes shouldn't be an impediment. None of us likes to pay. But if we don't pay, government is not able to generate the needed revenue to build our roads, our hospitals, our schools, etc., etc. So it's important that we all do our bit. So if you're well informed and you understand what it takes, you do your part. You don't always have to wait for customs to come and knock on your doors. And like Mr. Akbozo said, the shippers themselves must take charge of the process. You have your agent doing the work for you, but you should understand what you're doing. So that at the end of the day, you don't say, it's my agent, but you are the principal. You are the one who has appointed the agent, so you're also responsible. But if you understand it, whatever information that the agent brings, you ensure that it is the right information and you are on the right side of the law.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonita Bismarck.
Now, away from that, 5 persons have been picked up by the Northern Regional Police at Zapalsi in the Mion district in connection with the lynching of 2 people over witchcraft accusations. Some youth of Zapalsi who allegedly lynched a man and woman on accusation of witchcraft later fled the community for fear of being arrested. On Wednesday night, police invaded the community and arrested 5 suspects who are currently with the Regional Police Command. About 12 suspects were identified by the family of the victims. 5 of them are still on the run.
The Ghana Medical and Dental Council is tight-lipped about accusations leveled against it by the Ghana Physician Assistants Association. The Ghana Physician Assistants Association wants to break away from the council, saying there is an attempt to weaken its professional autonomy through some proposed legislations. The association has consequently threatened to embark on a strike from Monday, 24th July, if their concerns are not addressed.
The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, says it will enhance public awareness and education regarding the use of its digital payment platforms, aiming to provide greater convenience for customers. As of last month, ECG issued a directive that physical cash would no longer be accepted for bill payments. However, despite this directive, a number of customers are still facing challenges in making payments through the digital channels. Bismarck Otu, the Accra East manager of ECG, emphasized that the Operation Zero Revenue Mobilization Initiative goes beyond just revenue collection.
The Operation Zero exercise is a general revenue mobilization exercise that has been earmarked and planned by management of ECG that is taking place simultaneously across all ECG operational areas. The motive of the exercise is that we are moving from house to house, inspecting all premises with ECG connections, ensuring that those who have bills pay up to the zero balance so that they don't have any balance outstanding. And then those who also have meters that are not being billed or not receiving bills, we also bring them on board by putting them on our flat rate system, which has been created on our system. And so the essence is to rake in enough revenue to be able to pay our suppliers for, continuous supply of electricity for the country. So the operation is actually earmarked for revenue mobilization and then the system cleaning as well. So far, so good. It has gone on well. Customers have embraced it. Wherever we go, we get the cooperation of customers. And we haven't had any major challenge as at now. Where we go and the customers are owing, we talk to them, take them through the app system, and then they pay.
On the issues of meter request backlogs, the Accra East manager noted that the company has started servicing old customers. Well, you heard the Accra East manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Bismarck Otu.
9 out of 10 flag-bearer hopefuls of the new patriotic party NPP have petitioned the party leadership to centralize the August 26 Special Delegates Congress. The party plans to hold the election on regional basis, a move the petitioners are opposed to. According to them, decentralizing an election of only 900 voters is not a good move. They are therefore urging the party to allow all 900 delegates converge on one venue for the polls. City News understands the petitioners have been invited by the party leadership over the matter. The NPP will on August 26 downsize the list of its presidential aspirants from 10 to 5 as stipulated in its constitution.
The African Center for Parliamentary Affairs has backed calls by renowned economist Kwame Pianim for the withholding of allowances of members of parliament who boycott parliamentary business. The group's comment comes on the back of the minority group boycotting parliamentary business in support of their colleagues standing trial for various charges brought against them. Speaking to Citi News, Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman, said withholding allowances of MPs who boycott sit-ins was important to serve as a deterrent for absenteeism.
In fact, I think it's a view that I also espoused some days back that, in this our country, it looks like it's impossible to have members of parliament sack their own for breach of the parliamentary procedure of absenting yourself. So in the Scandinavian countries and other places, they have a very realistic approach where you miss parliament and then you lose some of your allowances. And that's a kind of an area that bites very hard and very quickly. And so in our country, given the history, I think that might be a way to go. But of course, this would need some tinkering with the standing orders because we don't have it in the rules of procedure right now.
Dr. Rashid Rahman further called on the leadership of Parliament to dialogue to resolve the current crisis in the House.
Well, I think he has no choice. I mean, he has to follow the rules. I mean, if you are absent, you need permission. Otherwise, you are absent. And then, continuously 15 times, then the rules begin to apply to you. But you see, I mean, there is a gap in the standing orders because it says 15 continuous time. So somebody can absent themselves maybe 11, 12 times and then come back to Parliament, and then the counting begins again. So that's the challenge. And for me, I think the way out of this, I've said over and over, is that, I mean, they need to dialogue. They need to sit down and talk. I think we have leaders in the House, and that's what leadership is all about. I mean, dialogue is what is going to take us out of this crisis. There's no other way out.
Dr. Rashid Rahman is the Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs.
The Western region has recorded a marginal increase in road traffic crashes in the first half of 2023 compared to the same period last year. This was contained in the National Road Safety Authority's Road Traffic Performance Report of the region and signed by the regional head of the authority, Nana Ekuya Ansa. According to the report, between January and June this year, the region recorded a total of 347 road traffic crashes, which is higher than the 354 recorded during the same period in 2022. Out of the figure recorded this year, 51 were fatal, 148 were serious, and the minor cases were 175, while in 2022, a total of 43 were fatal, 150 serious, and 161 minor cases were recorded. In all, 442 casualties comprising 62 deaths and 380 injuries were recorded against 54 deaths and 317 injuries within the same period in 2022.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, economist calls for robust measures to tackle rising food inflation as 850,000 Ghanaians have been pushed into poverty, according to a World Bank report. We'll bring you details of this story and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV. Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Are you ready to groove to the captivating rhythms of highlife music? Then get ready for an unforgettable experience on the Voice Factory Season 5 stage. Join us as we celebrate the rich cultural heritage of West Africa with the soulful sounds of highlife music. Known for its infectious melodies, intricate guitar work, and vibrant horn sections, highlife music has been the heartbeat of the region for decades. On the Voice Factory Season 5 this weekend, we will bring you the best of the best in highlife music, showcasing both established legends and rising stars. From the timeless classics of E.T. Mensah, George Darko, Akosua Japan, Papobo, and the likes, our contestants will transport you to a world of pure musical bliss. So, get ready to tap your feet, sway to the beat, and immerse yourself in the enchanting world of highlife music. Tune in to the Voice Factory Season 5 on Saturday, 22nd of July 2023 at 6:30 p.m. So follow the prompts to vote for your favorite contestant via the short code *920*973#. You can also visit citytvonline.com/Voice Factory to vote. The Voice Factory Season 5 is brought to you by Ebony Condoms, refreshed by Eddie's Pizza, official voting partner Nilo Solutions, refreshed by McBerry Twist Cupcakes, and sponsored by Coupon Hospitality. The Voice Factory is powered by Citi TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM, Alisa Hotels, Linash Beauty Parlor, and stitched by Wenya.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central, Patrick Yabwama, has taken a swipe at the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dapiamepo, for raising concerns of lack of quorum in the House on Wednesday. Parliament on Wednesday had to adjourn sit-ins due to the lack of required minimum of 92 legislators before the conduct of business. In a submission on the floor of Parliament, the Member of Parliament for Okankwe Central, Patrick Yabwama, said the conduct of Roxanne Nelson Dapiamepo must be looked into.
His interpretation is that once you are within the presence of Parliament, you are deemed to be present within Parliament, undertaking a business that he has so directed. So for a member who belongs to a committee that was sitting with this sitting being televised live, to rush into the chamber to raise an issue of quorum for the whole country to think that this parliament is not a serious house, smacks of mischief. Mr. Speaker, we are in this country together. We want to run the country as a civilized man. And we believe that members ought not to stray into other areas that will present or put the image of Parliament in such a bad state, Mr. Speaker. This ought to be looked into, Mr. Speaker. People come in, sign, and leave the chamber. They attend committee meetings. It's part of the work of Parliament. A wrong signal ought not to be sent out to the general public, Mr. Speaker. And that is my application for you to give direction.
You heard that the MP for Okaikwe Central, Patrick Yawama, Roxanne Nelson Dapiamepo, for his part, debunked the assertion, saying his motion for adjournment on Wednesday was in order.
The government of my motion before the House that we were not properly constituted. We couldn't have come to a correct decision because of the fact that we lacked the correct number for commencement. And indeed, the record was that we were 35. I am therefore scandalized to hear from my brother that I raised these matters, these constitutional procedural matters, but on propriety as a result of mischief. The world is looking at us, my brother. And so I am happy if we want to gather to do business of Parliament and conduct affairs of state. But the Constitution provides that in doing so, the appropriate numbers of Parliament must be properly constituted before that can be done. We didn't match that lower threshold yesterday. The votes and proceedings that you are waiving, the green booklet, it's not votes and proceedings of members who were present at commencement. At commencement. You can, Mr. Speaker, let my brothers listen to these matters that border on the Constitution.
Roxanne Nelson Dapiamepo is MP for South Dai. Now, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Wusu, in his ruling, says the House ought to take a firm position on what exactly constitutes the lack of quorum, since some of the MPs were at various committee meetings, which also falls under the business of Parliament.
I think, Mr. Speaker's rule, I'm hearing for the first time today that Mr. Speaker has further ruled that if you're not in the chamber, you're absent. I didn't know that. But I think that we should be clear in our definition when is a member said to be present. Of course, when it comes to taking a decision, we may defer every other matter, stop every other proceedings, and invite members to come in the chamber. But when it is question time, you're asking questions about regular. I have a committee meeting. Should I sit here and listen to constituency specific matters, or should I go and do the committee meeting? These are matters I think that we should rethink and reconsider when we raise the issues of quorum and so on. As the Honourable Minister for Trade has said, if we are not careful, once we come here, every other business abates. And remember, we often invite people from outside Parliament to brief us, to answer questions here, and we keep them here. I think that it's a matter we should discuss and take a firm decision on our own. And for the time being, I take note that it is on record that yesterday 201 members were present. How that happened when Parliament truncated business because we didn't have a quorum to transact business is a matter which we may have to answer to the public.
That was the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Wusu.
A report authored by the World Bank has disclosed that the high inflation rate in 2022 pushed an overwhelming 850,000 Ghanaians into poverty. The report further indicated that the severe economic crisis in 2022, characterized by soaring inflation rates, had devastating consequences on food security and poverty in the country. Citi Business News' Edna Agnes Boache has more in the following report.
The World Bank report disclosed that the year-on-year inflation surged from 14 to 54% between January and December, making it the highest inflation level since the early 2000s. The impact of this inflation spike, according to the report, was particularly felt in the rising prices of food, which outpaced the increase in non-food items. As a result, the real purchasing power of Ghanaians plummeted, hitting the poorest segment of the population the hardest. The report further disclosed that the number of food insecure Ghanaians surged from 560,000 in the last quarter of 2021 to 823,000 during the same period in 2022. As food prices continue to climb, a significant portion of the population struggle to afford sufficient food to meet their dietary needs, let alone maintain a healthy and active lifestyle. Economist Dr. Priscilla Chimesu responded to the report by calling for policies that address challenges in food production.
The fact that food prices still constitute significantly to the headline inflation is an indicator for us to look at policies that are addressing issues in the agricultural sector towards food production. Because if those policies are working, then essentially food prices would be reasonable and then inflation can be curtailed.
The World Bank report, however, notes that the economy is expected to recover by 2024.
Citi Business News' Edna Agnes Boache with that report.
Now, the trial of the footballer accused of killing two teenagers at Abesim in the Bono region is expected to begin on August 16 at the High Court. This was after the Kaneshie District Court, presided over by her magistrate Ama Adomako Kwache, committed the accused Richard Appiah for the murder trial. The committal processes have been ongoing since his arrest in 2021. During the committal proceedings, Richard Appiah was first declared unfit to stand trial due to a medical condition he was suffering from, but he has now been declared fit to stand trial after treatment. Counsel for the accused, Theophilus Jimega, spoke to the media after court proceedings.
What happened today is just the committal. Okay. So the piece of evidence that the state has against the accused were presented, and the judge was to determine whether it's enough for the accused to stand trial. So we were given the piece of evidence today, and he has been committed to stand trial at the High Court, Accra, on the 16th August 2023 at 9 o'clock. So basically that is what happened today.
How many witnesses are you calling?
We intend to call 2 witnesses. The state will be calling a number of witnesses for the case, and at this stage it is not to determine whether he's guilty or not guilty. So when we get to the High Court and we have something to prove, we will do it at the High Court.
Your name, sir?
My name is T.K. Jimeka.
From legal aid or?
No, I've been asked to do it free.
That was the defense counsel in the Abesim murder trial, Theophilus Jimega.
It's a heart-wrenching story of hope and sorrow. 27-year-old Halimatu Adams had her dream of a male child fulfilled, only to tragically lose him 10 days after birth at the KNUST hospital in the Ashanti region due to suspected medical negligence. Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani brings us this report.
Mohammed Jamal, a 36-year-old father, and his 27-year-old wife, Halimatu Adams, had long prayed and wished for a male child after the birth of their first daughter. Their dream came true when Halimatu gave birth to a baby boy who they named Faraj, fulfilling their much-desired wish. The couple took little Faraj to the KNUST hospital for a routine male circumcision procedure. However, during the procedure on April 3 this year, a nurse attended to them and took the baby to the theater. Mohammed Jamal recounted the events on that day to Citi News.
So about 20 minutes, I had the nurse rush out to the nurses' station and call other nurses to come to the theater room. So all the nurses went with the nurse who took our son into the theater. So they went there for some minutes. I was there, I was thinking, I was contemplating what is happening inside. 30 minutes again, or maybe up to 1 hour, I saw about 4 doctors who went inside to the theater to work on my son. About some few minutes later, those doctors came back on my son again at the theater. They went in for about 1 hour and later came in outside, called my wife and I to a private room and narrated what happened inside the theater. They said on their process of the circumcision, my son had a cardiac arrest. So they worked on him and they sustained the heart. So the heart was beating. That was when they told us that they would send the baby to Okonfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital for him to be in that machine. So later, the heart stopped again. They came back, they tried all their best, but they couldn't revive my son. So they told us that my son is no more.
Despite the initial engagement with hospital authorities on the matter, the interest in resolving the issue seemed to diminish over time.
After the incident, we went to the administration to see the administrator. We narrated what happened. So he called the matron with the administrator and 2 other senior doctors. We had a meeting with them, with my family members too, on what happened, what transpired. So they'll console us on what has happened, and they said they will get back to us. So later, I wasn't hearing anything from them. So I decided to have a lawyer who can fight on my behalf.
Months after the tragic incident, Halimatu Adams, the mother of the baby, remains deeply distraught and grieving her loss.
Normal to me that the time be my basasa because now me wishing say menya boy.
I have been thinking about the loss of my baby, and I have not been myself since the incident happened. I wished to have a baby boy, and that wish came true. I was so excited the first time I was told I would deliver a male child. I have been worried since the incident, and I pray to get a replacement soon.
Recently, Health Minister Kweku Agyemang-Manu expressed concerns about the rising cases of legal issues related to medical negligence during a meeting in Kumasi with senior managers of the ministry. In search of justice, the bereaved couple has reached out to the Advocacy for Medical Malpractice Victims, an organization dedicated to championing access to justice for victims of medical malpractice.
We decided to engage the university authorities to see the way forward so far as their case is concerned. We had a couple of meetings trying to see if we could have some compensation for them for the loss of their baby, but that could not be realized. So we have decided to use the next best alternative, which is to go to court to try and seek justice on their behalf.
Hospital authorities declined to comment on the matter, directing the news team instead to the university's relations officer.
Management of the university has confirmed the incident and says it has referred the matter to the legal team to deal with it. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, KNUST, Ashanti Region.
And here in Accra, in the studios of Citi FM, I'm Wilma Obobisa-Coleman with Caleb Kuda. You're listening to the Citi Prime News. Still ahead in the bulletin, 2023 VGMA Artist of the Year, Black Sharif, arrested over alleged breach of contract. We'll tell you why shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Home is a reflection of who you are. So you need a wide variety of colors, patterns, textures, and styles to personalize your space so it feels like home. Visit the Orca Deco Superstore on Spinkters Road today.
1xBet Jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. 1xBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. 1xBet. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, as part of moves to shape policies and framework of socio-economic development, the government says plans are far advanced in reviewing the biological and toxic weapons bill. This, the government explains, is in line with international standards, which will ensure the country is safe from any future attack of biological weapons. The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Kweku Efriye, spoke at a press conference here in Accra.
With our commitment to global disarmament efforts, MERCY, in partnership with the United Nations for Office for Disarmament, is actively reviewing the biological and toxic weapons bill to implement the 1972 Convention on the Prohibition of Bacteriological and Toxic Weapons. I tell you, MERCY is very futuristic. We are looking and scanning the environment so that those who hold even the last remnants of a biological, you know that, for example, you know that smallpox has been eradicated, but there are few countries who are holding smallpox virus in stock. They have the potential to, use it as a biological weapon. So MERCY is keeping tab on all of them for the benefit of this country. Some of our drugs are even better not be said. So that is how MERCY is being constructed.
Dr. Kweku Efriye further noted that government has made strides in the management of electronic waste, which used to be highly concentrated in the Aguglushi enclave.
To manage electronic waste, the ministry is implementing the sustainable management of electrical and electronic waste with support from the General Development Corporation, and notably over 315 tons of e-waste and some 37 tons of mixed batteries and 20 tons of thermoplastics and a little over 100 sets of CRTs have been retrieved and mitigating their harmful impact on the environment. Again, we have plans to scale it. These things go up, and it is tied in with this appropriation thing that they used to burn that place. A greater crowd region is and then a yeoman's work on carbon market and climate change. Our efforts are to combat climate change. We have to develop a carbon market framework document to incentivize organizations to minimize their carbon footprint and adopt low carbon technologies.
That was the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Kweku Efriye.
7 months after the implementation of the 2023 agreed professional fees for freight services at Ghana's ports, freight forwarders say the current economic condition has affected the expected benefits. It comes on the back of the republication of the negotiated professional rates by the Ghana Shippers Authority to ensure compliance among industry players. The following report has more.
Were announced earlier this year in accordance with the Ghana Shippers Authority Regulations 2012 LI 2190. When the rates were agreed, conventional general cargo such as steel products, plates, drums of up to 100 metric tons was supposed to cost a maximum charge of 1,200 Ghana cedis, with every additional ton costing 6 Ghana cedis. A saloon car cost an importer 1,300 cedis for the services of a freight forwarder. For containerized cargo, a 40-footer container will cost a shipper 2,800 Ghana cedis, whereas it costs 2,000 Ghana cedis for a 20-footer container. First Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Paul Kobna Mensah, says Given the volatilities of the exchange rate, inflation, and current economic indicators, the rates are no longer meeting expectations.
With the speed of the economy now, the amount that we agreed and is being implemented is not economic viable to sustain these service providers. And as you know, utility tariff keeps increasing. Fuel, of course, has been a bit manageable. And now inflation is still hitting us, okay? So it is really an issue to really contain with such a fee. It has become very meager.
Although the association was fighting for a 250% increase at the time, the increment was only 110%. The only option available is to find means of increasing volumes of goods cleared at the port to make way for these losses.
We have a lot of consultation meetings, discussions, and at least to come up with a plan that will make our ports attractive, to attract more volumes of work that we used to have, and even more. On our part, we have also sent a delegation to other ports like Gambia, Senegal, and then we are also going to we are doing research, really to come up with some findings that will help the nation strategize the operations at the port. Because we believe that when the port is active and vibrant, there we also have jobs to do. And then even if the amounts are mega and the volumes are high, at least we can break even.
First Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, Paul Kobina Mensah, ending that report by Ni Latte.
Health authorities in Ghana are urging unvaccinated citizens to take advantage of the ongoing vaccination drive to get immunized against COVID-19. The call comes after the launch of the 7th edition of the National Vaccination Campaign aimed at encouraging more people to receive the jab. Citi News' Inusafo visited some health facilities and reports that the low turnout is of concern to officials.
The Adabraka Polyclinic in Accra experienced a low turnout during the ongoing vaccination exercise. Less than 10 people had come forward to receive their COVID-19 vaccinations. The reasons for this low turnout remain unknown, causing authorities to express concern about the situation. During the visit to the health facility, a woman was receiving her jab.
Is this your first time getting the COVID vaccination?
Yeah. Why? I have no reason. I decided just not to take it because I heard it was painful. Yeah, it is. So.
Okay, so what changed your mind this time round?
Let's say it's a necessity now, so I had to. I'm traveling, so yeah, I'm supposed to take it. That's why I came for the injection.
But the delay in vaccination for some citizens raises questions about the uptake of the COVID-19 vaccine. As per the initial directive from the Health Ministry, citizens are required to receive 2 doses of the vaccine to achieve the optimum level of protection against the virus. Despite extensive education and sensitization efforts carried out by the Ghana Health Service regarding the importance of vaccination, there are still some who believe the pandemic to be a hoax and have chosen not to get vaccinated.
For me, I took my vaccine somewhere in 2020. That's about 2 years or 3 years, in December 2020. But then I could just get 1 dose of the vaccine. And I was told the available vaccines for my second dose were expired. And the actual dose I took, which was Moderna, it was out of stock. And personally, I didn't get any call back. I wasn't called back to be told that the second available vaccines were ready. So I'm still waiting. And we called them actually to find out if there were any ones available, and we're told that they were not available, so we are still at home waiting.
I haven't been vaccinated at all. The World Health Organization has declared it as not being a pandemic anymore, so I don't see the reason why I would have to go for another vaccination or go for a vaccination. Yeah.
As of July 18, 2023, the expanded program on immunization had administered nearly 26 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to approximately 14 million people. Among these, about 13 million individuals, representing 76.3% of the target herd immunity of 18.2 million, had received at least 1 dose, which constitutes 43.9% of the country's total population. The 7th COVID-19 vaccination exercise will run from Wednesday, July 19 to Sunday, July 23, with the primary goal of increasing vaccine uptake to achieve herd immunity and protect citizens against potential future national and global spikes in COVID-19 cases. Health authorities continue to stress the importance of vaccination in the fight against the virus and its variants.
Citi News' Inusafo filed that report.
The founder and leader of the Salt and Light Ministries, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye, is advocating extension of maternity leave for new mothers. Ghana's labor law currently requires that companies provide new mothers with at least 3 months maternity leave with pay. But speaking to Citi News on the sidelines of the maiden edition of the HD Plus Lead Hers Experience, Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye said maternity leave should be extended to 6 months because remote working has become a new norm.
My own view is that 3 months maternity leave is not enough when women are being asked to lactate for 6 months. So for me, the arithmetic is simple. If you want women to bring up children who are strong, next generation which is strong, and you are asking them to lactate, then the arithmetic has to be right. They have to go on maternity leave for 6 months. So they do the full lactation. For me, that's how I see it. And I do it in my office. Yes. You see, the thing is that sometimes people think about the money. These days, people can work from home. So you can, productivity is not necessarily linked to presence. Because some people will be present at work, they won't produce, So now that people can work from home, I think we should seriously consider that for the sake of the generations that we are bringing into the world. Everybody knows that when you lactate, the children grow stronger. They fall sick less often. And emotionally, the bonding that comes from actually feeding a child is strong, and the children grow up better.
Reverend Dr. Joyce Aye is founder and leader of Salt and Light Ministries. Wilma, I think you agree with this?
To some other stories, several National Democratic Congress NDC branch executives in the Amasaman constituency of the Greater Accra region have called on the party's leadership to promptly conduct the constituency elections, which have been on hold. The executives say the delay is adversely affecting the work in the constituency. Citi News' Philip Nilate reports.
In the Greater Accra region, the National Democratic Congress NDC has successfully conducted constituency elections in 33 out of 34 constituencies. The party conducted its constituency elections on 22nd and 23rd October 2022. However, the elections in certain constituencies, including Amasaman, were put on hold due to dispute over the delegates list, while in other constituencies, the dispute revolved around the qualification of candidates. A group calling itself Concerned Branch Executives in the Amasaman constituency highlights that the absence of executives at the constituency level is hindering their campaign effort to recapture the seat in the 2024 elections. They strongly believe that commencing campaign work immediately in Amasaman is in the party's best interest.
90% of branch executives don't have membership cards. Who will sign for you? Who is the chairman? If you go to the office, even if you have a complaint to lodge now, where are you heading to? We have aspirants who are vying for constituency executive positions. If you go to them, they will tell you, I'm not a constituency chairman, neither am I the secretary. So I can't solve your problem for you. So when all what we do is sharing videos on WhatsApp platforms, attending funerals, announcing birthday parties and the rest. The MPP, they have snatched our seat with a margin of 3,000 plus votes. So if we have constituency executives here, we will hit the streets. We will do door-to-door campaigns. At the end of the day, by the time they will elect their parliamentary candidate, we will be far gone. But right now, we are also sitting there looking at them. But if you wake up early in the morning and you realize that you lost your seat by 3,000 votes, my brother, you can't sleep. We are the grassroots. If anything, it affects us. That's why we are appealing to our national executives. We won't blame anybody. We don't know what is upholding our constituency elections. So we need to know, and we are appealing to them. We are pleading on everybody's behalf that they should come to our aid.
Malam Dauda Kwesen, who is the convener of the group, further called on the flag bearer of the party, John Dramani Mahama, and the national executives to, as a matter of urgency, organize an election at the constituency level in the Amasaman constituency.
We are appealing to our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and Honorable Johnson Esiedun Ketia, and his able secretary, in the name of Honorable Fifi Kwete and the entire national executives. We know when they hear us, our problems will be addressed. We are calling on them to conduct an emergency constituency elections. Because even the PC elections, that it was tensional. But for the constituency there, it's not tensional, so we don't know what is holding them. Some people decided to hit on the street and do demonstrations, but we don't want to wash our dirty linens in public. So if our national executives invite us or our regional executives invite us, close doors meetings, door to door, we can tell them what's actually on the ground. Because as Antifor said,
for the executives or the branch executives in the Amasaman constituency, a timely election that will be conducted at the constituency level will compel them, or rather motivate them, to start campaigning in the constituency and also to be able to snatch the seat from the New Patriotic Party come 2024. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Philip Ni Latte.
Wilma, you may know the Kweku the Traveler.
Yes, I do.
Well, so Black Sheriff, famous Ghanaian rapper, Black Sheriff, he recently won the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards Artist of the Year. He has been allegedly arrested at the Kutuka International Airport last night over an alleged breach of contract. News gathered by the Ghana Weekend portal so far indicates that Cruise People Limited engaged the management of Black Sheriff to perform at the second edition of its musical cruise on board a cruise ship on August 19, 2023 in Greece. An initial deposit of $20,000 was made to Black Sheriff in exchange for a video recording of him confirming his participation and availability for the show. Black Sheriff acknowledged receipt of payment and assured them that the video clip would be ready before the broadcast date. Cruise People Limited then made deposits and secured cabins on the cruise ship in anticipation of increased interest and patronage of the event. However, Black Sheriff failed to provide a video clip as promised. As a result of the rapper's failure to confirm his participation, the cabins on the cruise ship were cancelled. The lawyers of Cruise People wrote to Black Sheriff and his management on May 23, 2023, but they have not yet received a reply. Cruise People Limited is now considering legal action against the rapper for breach of contract. Efforts to reach Black Sheriff and his team to ascertain the facts of the matter have so far been unsuccessful.
Now, the Bono Regional Police Command has arrested one of the twin brothers who have been accused of stabbing a 17-year-old boy at a popular drinking spot in Brekum. The incident occurred on Sunday, July 16, when the victim and the suspect attended a night party at the drinking spot where a disagreement ensued between them. During the altercation, one of the suspects used a pair of scissors to stab the deceased in the chest, resulting in his immediate death. The body of the deceased, Al-Hassan Suleiman, was taken to the Brekum Holy Family Catholic Hospital mortuary for preservation and autopsy. After a manhunt for the suspect, one has been arrested. Brother of the deceased, Suleiman Seidu, appealed to the police to expedite actions at arresting the other twin brother.
I'm not happy at all. I'm not happy about what happened. But right now they have arrested one of the twins. So we pray that we will get the other one. Then the police and the government will take the justice for it. So we are praying to get the other one. What I'm expecting now is, right now, we did not get the other one. So I think they are doing their investigation. about the case. So I think they will do their best to get the other one and take their justice. So we are praying to get the other one. That's the problem right now. We need justice for my little brother, because it's a lot, but we need justice.
That was the brother of the deceased Suleiman Seidu, and that's all time would allow us for on today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, you can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. My name is Wilma Obobi-Sakoman, and I was here with
Caleb Kuda.
Up next is the afternoon's edition of the Citi Business News. Many thanks for doing the listening, and do have a good day.